In this video, I'm sending a black walnut rough sawn board through my surface planer. It's taking off approximately a 1/16 of an inch with each pass. We send it through until the board has a flush, flat, smooth surface on it. Due to the fact that I don't have a jointer yet, I have a piece of plywood with some clamps on it that I simply clamp down the board to put a fresh edge on one side. Then I send it through the table saw, and I now have a straight edge that I can turn around and send it through up against the fence. Now I've cut out the end side piece, and I have a template that's glued to the top, and I run it through the router with a flush trim bit. Then I go over to the drill press with a 1/2 inch Forstner bit and drill out the majority of the handle. Next up is the bandsaw, where I split the handles right in half. Sometimes what I'd like to do is just take my pieces and put them on the board where they would go. As you can see, the corners are not mitered yet, just to make sure that everything's lining up, and before I continue working on it, I'm not wasting my time due to an error. Now, I do have to say, I did put some new Phoenix Goods urethane bandsaw tires on the bandsaw, and it made a tremendous difference. Very, very quiet, very, very smooth. Highly recommend them. Next up, due to the fact that I split these boards right in half, I have a matching pattern, or mirror image if you prefer. And here's a quick peek of my Timberwolf 3/4 inch 2 to 3 variable tooth resaw blade. Now I'm cutting the two sides in half from one piece. Now I got this idea from a friend who brought over this board filled with delicious cheeses and meats and fruits, and I looked at it and I said, hey, I can make one of these, so this is my version of it. I then put some dominoes in the middle, applied some glue, and clamped them up. After the glue dried, I put the boards in my spline jig and ran it through 2 times on each corner. Now you can see that I already finished the bottom board with some food safe mineral oil before the glue up. Here I chose some hard maple for my splines, and again I'm just testing them here on the corners to make sure it's a nice tight fit. Now over to the bandsaw, and we cut the splines approximately 1.5 inches long with a stop block and a miter gauge. Next up is to glue all the splines and insert them in the joints in each corner. Now for the satisfying part, by putting down the food safe mineral oil along with a white cloth, we rub the wood, we let it soak, we let that grain come to life. That's right. Push it all around. And then after it's soaked in for a few minutes, we take a new cloth and we buff it dry. Now these boards have many uses. You can use it pretty much for whatever you want. Finally, the last step is with some Ollie's oil. We use a Scotch Brite pad and we buff this oil in, and boy does it smell good. Puts a nice protective coat on it, and it's food safe. Here we have a few boards that are totally complete, and I don't believe in making one at a time due to all the setup of the tools and the blades and and finishing, I believe if you're going to make something, go for it. So I made a batch of 10. Here are 8 of them on my workbench. Some of them are going to be Christmas presents, some are going to be birthday presents, some are going to be given away to some good friends, customers, clients. So if you got any knowledge out of this video, hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you very much.